Good evening, viewers.
Good evening, viewers.
Thank you for joining us
tonight.
There's been so many
problems today.
And even up until our computer just
switched off.
We're hearing about the
echo, but
hopefully you won't hear it
on your side.
So we'll go
straight into it.
The night show
was all about
development
at
national level,
club level, and player level.
And I have two youth coaches going to be introducing
right now.
Go for it, guys.
Yorick,
you first.
Hi guys, and to the viewers. I'm Yorick Meyer, and I'm a youth coach in Cape Town.
Can you tell us
where you coached before?
I've started my coaching, obviously, as an assistant at FC Cape Town, and a short stint at Cape Town City. And then I went on to at FN Rangers, Ubuntu Academy, and FC Gau. So so my teams that I currently with, I'm helping in my community at FC Tafelzoek. So that's where I'm at the moment.
Mr. Chamaile. Did I pronounce it
correctly?
Thanks for having me,
John.
I've been
coaching for the past
10 to
12 years now, junior level. Started off at as well. And then moved through to, I started academy football at Old Mutual back in 2012.
And then
from there moved to Ubuntu.
Spent
4 years at Football Academy. And then moved to Cape Moya, spent 2 seasons at Cape Moya.
Unfortunately,
the second season was disrupted with COVID. And as of
3 weeks ago,
I started at Young Ghana Football Academy
out in Somerset
West.
Thanks. So, I think you're very privileged to have. I've worked with these two coaches on the show. As there are not a lot of youth. That's a strong statement to make. These two youth coaches. They're very passionate about youth. And I think they understand the best coach at youth level. So I want to show it now this technology. Cape Moya's closed the academy. What are your thoughts on that? Yorick.
I think it's devastating for our youth. It's a sad affair for Cape Town football, obviously, and for the youth out there. Because we sitting in a situation where we need more Cape Moyas. So it's sad, it's really sad. And I think our youth is going to suffer. And I think our youth is going to suffer with whatever's happening.
We're going to get back to that
on the
closing of Cape Moya's Academy or
Cape Moya's Academy.
It's very sad news. I think for the obviously they came from Old Mutual Academy, became Cape Moya United. And I think the vision of the club and what they were going to build towards was very promising. And unfortunately with COVID, I think that's disrupted everything.
How devastating is it going to be for football?
Excuse me,
repeat that, please.
How devastating is it going to be for football?
Yeah, I think
hugely so. You can see it in the boys that have missed out on a year of development, and some boys have been at a crucial moment in their development, and it's really put a stop to what could potentially happen for them.
Jonny, if I just think of like Jonny said previously, the club was known as Old Mutual Academy. And I think at that time I was a player. I think I was at the club. Just to mention a few names of the players that played at Cape Moya Academy. Old Mutual, which is now Cape Moya. If you think of Robin Johannes, you think of Keegan Buchanan, you think of Lila Kay. That's just a couple of names. There's many more other professionals that the academy produced. So just by that couple of names, I think Jonny can mention even more names. That's just some of the boys that I can remember. It's still playing professional today that came through the academy, and I think it must be devastating to those boys.
This is a controversial question. Is development a priority for you? You mentioned any names. Do you feel that you get development a priority or in South Africa in general?
Can go ahead, Jonny.
I don't think it has been a priority, unfortunately. I believe that South Africa as a country has the potential to, as the Sundowns say, the sky's the limit, really. I think if you look at a country like Brazil and Argentina, I think their background in football and what they with the country is very similar to South Africa. And there's no reason why we shouldn't be producing players like Ronaldinho, Ronaldo, Marcelo, even the Neymars. There's millions of those kids in the townships here. And they're just not being nurtured properly for some reason. I don't know if it's a lack of funds or just interest in developing the future of the country.
What do you think the reason is?
I think one of the reasons is if you just look at local LFA level, the clubs is really struggling. I think in the gap between the haves and the have-nots is becoming much bigger. And it's more challenging for local teams. And with time, and we all know the game is changing, and the game is moving fast, and the game is moving in the other direction, and it's becoming more difficult for teams and our local professional setups to keep up in terms of developing players. And financially, you can see the clubs is really struggling, and I think that is one of the reasons why you get the Cape Moyas struggling at the moment. And not only them, a lot of other academies and our local clubs really struggling.
So how do you bridge that gap? Because I agree with you that we have so much talent. But if you look at the Spain, on the development already. But on the other hand, the gap is so between the haves and the have. Don't have the funds or Spain has, or Belgium has. So we to bridge that local club can or developing more, improve on development.
So I think it's really so difficult. So I think there haven't been a marriage between the schooling system and our football clubs. So I think that is a way out. That is one of the ways that I can think of that clubs need to build a relationship with the schools, and there has to be a marriage for the two. For SAFA working with the school system, they work together, and the clubs will have more time with the players. They will have access to their players. It's really difficult. It's really tough. But I think now is the time, due to COVID as well, it has a effect on our football. First it was a drought to the water, and now the COVID. And I think we're really struggling.
John, any comment on that?
Yeah, but
I must say I agree with Yorick. If the school system could improve and have more of a link with clubs, we might have a bit more success in developing stronger players. For local clubs, for European clubs, hopefully players that will eventually help Bafana Bafana challenge for a World Cup. I'd love to see the day. But I think that's a good place to start. Is probably in schools, and I think education is a big thing. Not just for our players, but for all of us, for coaches. I think as Yorick said, the game is forever moving forward. You've got to move with it. If you don't move with it, you get left behind.
So I read this article, and they were talking about the development of how they 10 years ago they were nowhere. Suddenly they produced some of the best players that Like talking about 2 years ago. And it was interesting that there was a marriage between England and Belgium. FA and the school. The interesting how do you get kids to train more? Currently at clubs they play 3 times a week. If you have this marriage with the company, get them up to 7 times a week. How important is it to the number of training sessions a week?
Personally,
I don't think the number of sessions really matters. I think it's just the quality of what you do in the time with the players that really matters. I think minimum you can train really to have good development is probably 3 hours with a game on a Saturday or Sunday, depending on the LFA or which country you're coming from. Obviously more is better, probably more helpful to spend more time with the players, because you get to know them on a more personal basis, which obviously helps. But as I say, I think it's more the quality of what you do with them in the time that you have.
Yorick, would you agree? 3 seconds maybe per week, or need to be more? I agree with your quality, but the number.
I think 12 and under, 3 would work. But if you look at 12 and up until under 18, I think the player needs more attention. And obviously, not besides the training, you look at the European academies, and they have access to educational psychologists. They have access to psychologists for their players. They have access to nutritionists for their players, which I think we still lack in that department. And having all these people on board in our football systems in Cape Town, that I can say. I can't speak for the rest of the country, but in Cape Town.
Do you think it's possible in the doesn't have the finances of resources around players?
a difficult
question to answer that. You look at
sports like
rugby and cricket in our country, and they're pretty well funded.
Which makes you
wonder why is football not as well funded? There's more people in the country that probably plays football than rugby or cricket.
And I'm not taking
anything away from those sports, but it'd be nice to see some funds being put into junior football. There's some clubs doing really, really good things with the juniors. Especially at the younger age groups, the foundation phase between the ages of 6 and 12. Just like to see more clubs getting the opportunity, or coaches even, just having more qualified coaches at more clubs.
So the team has been resonating, I think, with that a lot of the money being directly to and it's not so much football or we're close to football, and I definitely think that's a factor that needs to change. But I also don't want to take away women's spirit, and I do believe people who have the desire to make a difference can make a difference in the community. Would you agree, Yorick?
Obviously, the people that really have the passion and there is a lot of people in Cape Town that really give their all, but still they can only do so much. There's still a lot that needs to be done. That's why I say the marriage between the clubs and the schools is so important. And if and unfortunately funds is a big problem.
Yeah, so we've been helping to get into school and all three of us at an organization. And I definitely agree that those two things will help to create just a comment from the session. Thank you for your dedication. Natasha Washington is my cousin. So I want to show you guys something. No, it's not that. Sorry, guys. Okay. So this was a analysis of the different positions. So this was a 12-13-year-old boy that sent this to his coach, and he analyzed it from playing at 7 and 11. So maybe just read the first two lines. Number 5 is the same as before. But on the other side, with the ball, 5 needs to run to the first ball 11. So that 11 has 2 options. Why this one so interesting for me is that these coaches were trying to teach kids how to think about the game differently. How important is to coach kids in a different format, John?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
How important is coaches to coach kids or coach players in a different format?
In a format.
In a format.
Yeah. So this picture I showed you, can you see the
Yeah.
So this is a game analysis or a positional analysis that the player sent to his coach.
Yes. Sorry,
go ahead.
No go.
Yeah, I think
it's important for players to understand roles and understand what the coaches are trying to teach them. And I've actually seen this before, and I've had the opportunity to read it all, and you can see the player in question is very intelligent, and he understands the roles of each position on the pitch, which can only help, his development.
Yorick?
Yeah, you can see it's a player's. He understands his position, his tactical understanding of the game. But you see, it's very complex because it's not only that the player need much more. The player need much more. If you look at the home he comes from, the support structure, a lot of players lack. They don't have that. I can make an example. The other day I called the one boy because he needed to go play. And the first thing I asked him, did you go eat? Did you eat? And he said, Coach, there's no food in the house.
Sure.
And the van was supposed to go pick him up to go play. And I told him, just wait there, tell the van, I'll take you to the match. I need to go get the player. Give him something to eat before he can play a match. How do we expect a player, and this is a top player in Cape Town, to play on an empty stomach? There is no food in the house. And I believe there's a lot of players that go through that. So the tactical part is one section. So the player needs to eat correctly, and then the player needs to eat correctly. The player needs to train correctly. The player needs to have a support structure, and obviously the schooling. So that is very important for the player. And if he has all that, it also don't guarantee him he will make it. But that needs to be in order.
So that used to be the pillars of what we did. Being involved in the playing life of trying to offer that support, which is extremely hard. None of you found that being coaching the player by taking the player's life to the player and his family.
Sorry, John,
I didn't hear that.
So do you think the support structure and taking that into the player and his family life, how valuable do you think it is? How much have you had with the person?
So if I understand the question correctly, you're asking about how important the support structure is, the family of the player. Okay. I think it is important. It's not everything, though. I think I've seen it, way too often where kids are missing either one parent or both parents in the household, and a lot of the time they've been raised by their older brother or sister, or which is. It's devastating, There's a few organizations or clubs that are doing really good things to help and to try and I suppose bridge the gap between football development and development as a person.
So the holistic approach.
Because I
think one of the things where one of my previous clubs that I worked for, Ubuntu, they talk about educating the future, player, leader of the country, and community changes.
And I
think we need more clubs or more people in the game that have that kind of view to try and change
the
communities.
And there are a
couple of clubs
that are doing
that and doing it really, really well. And
would love to see
more clubs
pushing it.
And maybe it's not even on the owners of the club. Maybe it's on the owners of people. Maybe we need more people with a bigger vision. People that want to impact communities and not want to be involved with something very tricky. And even as coaches, the attracted to the success of the player as opposed to the growth of the player. So maybe it's necessary for us to have more people that's passionate about making a difference by using football. Here's a question. Butterfly. How much of your training comes from the psychological and mental coaching of the team so that they focus? Yorick? Great question.
I think as a coach, you have to take note of everything. You have to watch the player constantly. Everything. How he put on his boots, how he walks to the field. You watch everything of the player. And that's why I said a big thing that our academies is lacking is the psychological part, where we really do spend time with a player in that aspect. And I feel that we don't spend enough time with this topic, so like psychological part of the player. But as coaches, we can only do so much based on what we know, the knowledge we have regarding the topic.
For me, before John, this is one of the most topics from years ago. Especially if I'm thinking about the landscape of South Africa where we come from. So I think apartheid has damaged a lot of people psychologically and mentally. And you deal with as a coach on a regular basis. I remember coming to training, and there was maybe two boys that you eye, but the rest of them go down. And there's this confidence and this belief in themselves, positivity, and just this positive about who they are. So for me, I think a lot. Players struggle with that, and I think the psychological part is huge. But I also believe it might not be as complicated as having a session with a psychologist. You can be as simple as stepping into that player's space, or stepping into that person and see what they need. John?
Yeah, I think
it'd be nice to spend more time on the psychological and mental side of the game. Especially with the kids, some more one-on-one sessions, getting to know exactly where they're from. If you get to know the person
and not just
the player, then you can help develop them. Because I think obviously footballers are more than just footballers; they're human beings first and foremost. I think we don't
necessarily have the time on our hands, right? Especially if you do have one session a week or two sessions a week of an hour or an hour and a half. There's not many academies that are training twice a day where you've got that contact with the kids. Although in Europe they're not coaching, they're not necessarily training twice a day unless they're apprenticeships at the age of 16 to 18. But I think it's important to try and have a conversation or two with one or two kids before every session, after every session, even if it's just 2 minutes, 3 minutes, just checking in, seeing how he is, how his day was. I think it's important.
So maybe a quick story. I was coaching a great question, by the way. I was coaching this player. Before. He just came with this lack of motivation, lack of confidence. None of these two coaches were. He came with a lack of drive, and the temptation is always like, what do you focus on? The technical ability with on the care and the mental, emotional intelligence. And with him, I actually told him one day, he said, I need to work more. My focus was on mental, emotional, psychological. That boy ended up top that year. He was full of life. He was happy. He went over to the next stage, and that disappeared. And I think it's because him. He needed somebody to be emotional and mental. So it's all about seeing the player needs and trying to address that. Guys, do you have anything to say or advice or a pro tip?
Can go, Jonny.
Johnny, I think hard work. You just gotta work hard. Leave. Football's a game about opinions. If one coach, I'm talking to the youth, obviously. If a coach doesn't necessarily believe in you, doesn't mean the next one won't. I think just keep working hard and keep trying.
If you say hard work, Jonny, what do you say? What is hard work, Jonny? Because everybody says work hard, but what is hard work?
It's putting in the extra work, isn't it? It's not just coming to the field twice, 3-4 times a week. You gotta eat, breathe, and sleep football. It's even if you're a 12-year-old, even if it's waking up 20 minutes early and doing 10 minutes of work, in the morning before going to school. Everything helps.
Yeah. I think with education as well. Hard work. If you want to make it, you have to find out. Yorick, what is your definition of hard work?
I've got one word only, Jonny, and it's just love the game. And if you love the game, you'll give your all. You put in the extra effort. Your character will get stronger with all your experiences, because it's not easy. It's not easy to make it, and you're gonna get disappointments. But let your love carry you through all the difficult moments, and when the good times come, enjoy it, because it will come if you push.
And
Sure.
if any players watching for me to focus in Cape Town, understand the game that's worked with loads of young people. So I would definitely pay attention to what they say. Guys, before we log off, it's been a really enjoyed talking to you. Okay. Another question. How do coaches become responded knowing that only having hours and they go back to a negative environment for not long? No. Brilliant question. Guys?
You see, in any organization, it's very important for firstly the coaching team to work together. So when the coaching team from under 12 or under 8 to under 18 work together, so that's the first team, and you discuss each player, and the player moves from one coach to the other. So you learn to know the player by having discussions. The coaches learn the player. So for coaches, and you have to put in the extra effort with the player. Unfortunately, that is the game. If you get them for two times a week, you have to put in the extra day, and you will see the rewards. After 1 week, yes, it's 1.5 hours, but after 6 months, how many hours is that? After a year, how many extra hours is that? So it just comes with extra effort, and that's why I say your love for the game, to see the improvement in the player, obviously that will carry you. And it's not always easy. Logistically, sometimes there's a lot of challenges that we as coaches face. But you have to go the extra mile for the kid to see the improvement. And also if the kid wants to improve as well.
So that extra mile is like our budget. Providing food when you need. Providing transport. Conversations. Digging deeper. Jonny?
I think you got to hope that the time that you have with the kids, that when they do go back to these negative environments, that the things that you do teach them that they live out those values, and they don't go into bad situations with bad influences. And hopefully that their families aren't broken, and that they are loving, they are able to go back to loving families, even if the environment around them is challenging.
It's like, as a coach, we also parents, Jonny. So like I said, we're not with our kids 24/7. There comes a time when you have to trust your kid where he goes out in the real world. So it's this little conversations we have, this 2-minute, 3-minute, 5-minute conversations we have with our kids, with our players, that you hope will carry the player in the real world, that he remembers. I remember when I was a coach, I was a player, and I had these conversations with my coaches, and there's these words that stick to my head when I go out and I see the wrong things in our environment. And that's the sentences, the little conversations I have with my coaches that carried me through the way I am today. And I believe that is so powerful. And sometimes we as parents and as coaches take it for granted.
So thank you. Lead me to what I want to talk about next. So even as a player, I think one thing that is big, being a player was that I don't want something better. And I think what came out of this conversation is how important supporting structure. And there's this girl that I was talking. She's not a player. She's not a footballer. But she's from a rural area in Robertson. And there were two people that packed up their belongings, their life, and they moved to this town of Robertson, McGregor. Their names were Peter and Jonny Vessel. And they did what Jonny was talking about. They invested in this dog. Both the parents were struggling with abuse. The area I think in the last few years. So the area is struggling with, and she has just passed with a bachelor's. She's also been at TPU Wellington and UNISA. They applied for residence at TPU. But the problem is finances. So they apply for funding. But the finance problem. I think the conversation we've been having now is just we need to support people. We need to be a support structure in whatever way we can. And my appeal to the viewers and my appeal to these two coaches and their networks is if you have any way of helping this girl, then I want to ask you to reach out to me, and I'm gonna put my email here. And I'm gonna put my number. Because I believe just like the key to bridging that gap have not. And I believe to breaking the poverty cycle. So I want to appeal to the viewers. If there is anybody out there that for me with studies or resources or contact or network, please reach out to me on Armogam at live.co.za. So guys, once again, great talk. I know it's a short interview. Maybe 45 minutes. Talk about a lot of things. Yeah, I don't know if you want to greet the viewers. Jonny.
Jonny.
I didn't hear the question.
You want to greet the viewers?
Yeah, just hope everyone enjoyed the show and hope you have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. Mr. Meyer.
Yeah, thank you for everything, guys. Thank you for having me here. And I hope to see you soon on the pitch, Jonny.
I was thinking about I just want to thank you guys and the viewers and thank God. This was a dream of mine to do something like this, to be having interviews. I was just really grateful today that I have. Yeah. Thank you guys.
Thanks, John.
Yeah. Thanks, John. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.